Hey, this is John Carlos, and I am here with a look at the NECA 1-to-1 Chucky doll from Bride of Chucky. One thing I'm curious about opening this particular box is both the outer shipping box from Entertainment Earth and this box have dings in them. So, I am curious if the Good Guy doll box is dinged as well. Well, the good news is that outer box damage is not actual box damage. I think the little buffers created by the little cardboard and this little 1/4 of an inch really helped. Chucky looks very possessed. It's a hell of a look. Luckily the eyeballs are adjustable. But yeah, let's take a closer look at the box. So the thing about this box is that it's the same general design as the regular Good Guy dolls box, but it's all dirty and burnt and bloodied up. That way you still get a Good Guy dolls box, but they sort of honor the damage. They reflect the damage Chucky has in Bride of Chucky by giving you a damaged box. Here's a little look at the blue inside and the instruction manual, which is just the basics of his range of motion and the fact that you can adjust his eyeballs by touching his eyeballs. Oh, this is taped, so I'm going to need to cut this. There we go. It's finally free. And look at that head of hair. Definitely is going to need a run through with a brush. So looking at him right out of the box, I do have some nitpicks, but I will say overall, I like this. I'm excited to comb his hair out. But let's go in for a closer look so we can talk about some of the issues. Well, these eyeballs move a lot easier than the Tiffany eyeballs. Although there is, I can't tell if that's a scratch or schmutz in the middle of his eye, but I'm not thrilled about that. Yeah, that little scratch right in the middle of his eyeball, that's not coming off, so that sucks. Now, one thing that doesn't suck is the sculpt of this head. I like the shape of the forehead because in the movie his forehead does actually kind of go up that high. I love the furrowed brow and where it meets like his nose and the wrinkle above it. But there are some parts of the sculpt and the paint applications that do kind of bother me a little bit. Now, see, a lot of the cuts in his head, there's a sculpt and then it's painted red, and then there's like another coating that gives it like a wet, fleshy sheen to it. Whatever that coating is right in here, you can see it got a little heavy-handed and it reads a little creamy, like there's too much of it. So instead of looking wet, it looks like there's actual glop in there. This is the one that really bothers me right here. That looks almost like glue. I'm sure it's supposed to read a little wet like this and dry, but there's so much of it. Like someone who was applying this put so much that it got really collected and it reads gluey. Also, there's some cuts where the paint doesn't follow the line of the cut. You can see that this one deviates from the side a bit. The other one over here by the side of his ear, we can see how the paint line splits downward from the sculpt there that's going forward a bit. Otherwise, the rest of the paint I'm pretty happy with, like the metal and the little edges of the where the skin meets like the red bit. Most of the black stitches look pretty good. The staples look all right for the most part. Like these read better than the ones that are, you know, sculpted and painted to look like staples. But the shading on the face is pretty great. The red wet bit where his eye goes is good. I love the sculpt of his mouth and the inner mouth there. Let's see if I can get in for a better look at his teeth and tongue. It just looks really, really good. Really reads like the way Chucky reads in the movie. The eyebrows, though, need to be hopefully can be brushed out, but they're a little going in every direction there. So that's one thing for me to take a look at when I also brush the hair out. Oh, and one thing I gotta address is that this red paint line shouldn't be there. The original sculpt is just like a little bit of a side, kind of half-line indentation. It's there in the movie. It's not painted in the movie, and NECA painted it on this doll. And it was quite the scandal online. There was a lot of hubbub about it. I get it. When I look at it, you know, it shouldn't be there, but it also isn't huge, and it isn't a huge deal breaker. But it is a bummer that there's a paint line there that just simply should not be. You know, NECA has been developing this figure for years and been showing updates on social media, and I gotta say I'm pretty happy with the basics of it as far as these shoes and the actual pattern of the design of his shirt. That actual pattern looks good. The good guy overalls look great. The only nitpicks I have really is this safety pin looks like it's supposed to be connected to here. And it's funny because I've gone back and looked at a bunch of shots of Chucky from the movie. Sometimes the safety pin is there, sometimes it's not there at all, and this is just wide open. So, you know, movies are interesting. Things aren't always consistent. Another little problem I have is the body underneath here is foam, and that's fine. But for this exposed part where you can see his arm, this doesn't read like a plastic or rubber doll. It looks like foam, and that seam right there is just ghastly to me. Otherwise, the rest of the figure looks good. The shading on his hands, the shading on his face. Here's just a closer look at like the back of his whole outfit and his little Chucky butt. The outfit looks really good, and I think NECA has done a good job with the overall design of it, and then the wear and tear of it, the darkening of some areas, the stitching of it on other spots, like the stitching of this sleeve right here. I'm pretty happy with the body. So, the hair has been combed out, and I mostly like it. Mostly. See, Chucky's hair in Bride of Chucky is mostly straight, whereas this doll has been sitting in a box, mushed in plastic, with a net over it for who knows how many months. So his hair is a little wavy and like crimped in spots, and there's not really much I can do about that. Do not attempt to, if you have this at home, try to straighten it out with like a, you know, like a flat iron, because this is synthetic, it'll melt. So I'm stuck with this, but I really like this doll. I think that the face actually turned out better than I was expecting. I'd seen several people's photos in the last few months, and sometimes I wasn't thrilled with how the head turned out, even the official NECA photos. But it's interesting what lenses can do as far as like the way parts of the faces and angles can be warped a little bit. When I got this in person just now between setups, I looked at this on the table and like I giggled out loud. I was just so happy to have it. I think he looks really, really cool. I will admit, for the price point you're paying, do I wish that there were some better little details paid attention to when painting this? Yes. Do I wish the seam wasn't showing in his shoulder right there? Yes. But there's so much they got right. That I'm overall really happy with this. I don't want to like lower one to raise another, but there's a reason why I skipped the Trick or Treat Bride of Chucky figure and got this one. I think this one just nails a few more details than that other one, and I'm really happy with it. I also just got to point out I love that he comes with a grip hand. Doesn't come with any accessories, but if you wanted to have him hold a knife or a hardened Impala or like a gun or something, you can with the grip hand. Also, I love that the box is such a well-designed collectible box. I normally throw away my NECA boxes. This one I'm going to keep. And this just delights me to no end. Look at that face. It's really cute. I'm really happy. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. If you want to be up to date with all my latest reviews, be sure to click subscribe.